This segment is sponsored by White32 Dental. This is Tristan, who served our country in the Marines, but along the way lost sight of his own health, facing severe dental issues, and he turned to Dr. White for a life-changing solution. Dr. White joins us to share Tristan's journey and how this remarkable procedure is restoring more than just smiles. Welcome back, Dr. White. Always great to see you.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Yeah,
it's always good to see you guys as well.
Yeah, thank you. We just were introduced to Tristan. He served our country, but I know sometimes along the way we lose sight of our own health when we're doing something else. And then he came to you. What struck you when he came to you?
Yeah, actually, Tristan actually found us through WSNI.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So, Tristan came in, his biggest thing was like he didn't really like his smile. And also he just wasn't able to function properly. It's kind of the thing that we talk about all the time when it comes to dentistry. With that, obviously he comes in and, he tells me his complaints. I do a full evaluation and just to kind of see what's going on.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed is that he has a lot of cavities in a lot of his teeth. And unfortunately with Tristan's situation, the teeth just were not restorable, and it's one of those things where you kind of see how life can take you in a certain path. And unfortunately, the teeth can pay the price, unfortunately, for that.
Wow.
And so it's one of those things where I asked him, I was like, I can give you some removable teeth or I can give you some teeth that stay in. He chose the removable option, which is fine, but we still were able to get him a really nice result afterwards. Yeah,
so I mean, that couldn't have been an easy decision, right? He probably thought, okay, I'll go to the dentist, I'll get some fillings, but based on what you saw, together you decided to remove the teeth.
Yeah.
Why was that necessary? They were just not restorable.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had a lot of decay, a lot of cavities, a lot of infection inside the mouth. So, just to make sure that, we were able to make sure we protected his overall health, it was one of those situations where we did have to, unfortunately, take the teeth out.
Yeah.
But, like I said, for him, really the biggest thing was I really want to be able to function. I really want to be able to smile. And you could tell, like, when he came in, I mean, there was so many tears in that office that were shed. And so just seeing his situation. But yeah, I think the one thing that really stands out to me about Tristan is that, like I said, he found us through WSA9, and I was thinking about what would have happened if he never called.
Right.
He sees his dentist on here talk about changing lives and stuff like that, smile makeovers, and he could have said like, oh, sounds great. I'll maybe get to it at some point. I always think about like what would have happened if he never called.
Yeah.
I mean, we certainly wouldn't be seeing the Tristan on the board here.
Right. Well, and you know him personally. How is his life now?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely it's changed significantly.
Yeah. I understand you were able to put full dentures.
Full dentures, exactly. Full dentures in his mouth. So he was very happy with the results, and we were just all ecstatic there on the delivery day.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people who actually share his same situation.
Right.
I think about, there's many viewers who are also just like how they're in his same situation, or they're insecure about their smile. They're having pain, or they're scared to go to that family reunion or that class reunion because they just don't really like the way that they look, or they're not able to eat their food appropriately.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of those things. Or sometimes they've even taken like a dark turn, and unfortunately, like I said before, even with Tristan, the teeth paid the price for it.
Right.
And so it's one of those things where I'm like, they get to the situation and they're like, well, now I'm here. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I feel. But I don't know what my options are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he was able to come to you. I know you have your patients on here a lot, and one of the recurring themes is that they never feel judged when they come to you.
Exactly.
And that's huge. I think that prevents a lot of people from calling too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is something that I hear about a lot. Is that like I went to a place and I felt like they were kind of wagging their finger at me, and at the end of the day, everyone's got a story. Everyone has a history, and everyone had things that they've been through.
And thanks to you, they look better after they come to you, and they feel better.
Exactly.
Dr. White, thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah. For more information or to book your appointment, you can head to white32dc.com or call 240-221-6608. Again, that's 240-221-6608.